Hello everybody and welcome back to the F1 My Team Career Mode with me, Dan, and the Radiant Racing team for the second half of the season. Today we're actually on to round 9 of 16 and it is the Belgium Grand Prix, as it usually follows Silverstone. So at the moment I believe we're leading the championship in the Constructors and the drivers, although that may not be true. It has been a while since I edited the last video. Either way, we're first or second, so we're doing okay overall, and we've still got plenty of races left to go to try and catch up with the Red Bulls and hopefully stay ahead of them. Still waiting for that 1-2 finish though with our teammate GELAEL. Anyway, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell as well so you know when the next videos are uploaded. And we'll get on to the starting grid for today's race in Spa. And we're joined in Sergio Perez on the front row. He takes pole position over us and his teammate Max Verstappen, who lines up behind him in third, alongside our teammate GELAEL in the other Radiant Racing car. Then we have Lando Norris with a good performance for a change, and Pierre Gasly on the third row, followed by Lewis Hamilton in the first of the Mercedes. He's alongside Daniel Ricciardo. And then finally, rounding out the top 10, we have Yuki Tsunoda and Valtteri Bottas. Moving on from them, we have Esteban Ocon, not Fernando Alonso, lining up P11 alongside Carlos Sainz. Then Fernando Alonso follows in P13 alongside George Russell with an impressive qualifying in the Williams. Lance Stroll again starts P15, he's alongside Antonio Giovinazzi this time. And behind them we have Mick Schumacher in the other Alfa Romeo and Nicholas Latifi in the other Williams. The two Haas are Christian Lundgaard and Nikita Mazepin line up on the penultimate row, which means there's some penalties for Charles Leclerc and Jack Aitken. Well, here we go, the Belgian Grand Prix. Sergio Perez on pole position for a change instead of his teammate. As we get underway, it looks as though Verstappen's had a really good start there. We've not been able to get past Sergio Perez down into turn 1. Verstappen's going to have a look up the inside of us. And GELAEL remains pretty much wherever he was. Lando Norris actually drops back massively there as we challenge Max Verstappen as we go up the hill into Eau Rouge, side by side through this corner. Oh, that is dangerous there, but we still managed to sail alongside him. Stuck it into the slipstream. Now GELAEL's also having a look as well as we pull out of the slipstream to try and get past Max Verstappen on the Camel Straight, going into the chicane, and we force him wide. And now GELAEL's going to have a look through as well, and he does get through. That was fantastic teamwork from us there. GELAEL putting his car right where he needed to. For someone who's supposed to be really shit, he's actually quite good. As we come towering down the hill and looking down the order, actually Christian Lundgaard's a big loser down at the bottom. He's dropped out of the top 20. Nikita Mazepin, incredibly, has made an overtake and he's actually made 2 because he started P20. So that's incredible from him as we see GELAEL getting a little bit racy there behind us. Of course, the AI can still take the downhill section at full speed somehow, even though it's not possible. And it does give them somewhat of an advantage at this track. But let's go back on board with the start. You can see we had a lot of wheel spin as per usual. Sergio Perez gets away quite nicely. Then Verstappen up the inside, there he is. Probably could have closed the door on him a bit there, but we decided not to risk it. As we come powering down towards the hill, trying to put some pressure on him. Go round the outside, then he goes round the outside of us, tucks into the slipstream. And, well, this is a surprise to me as it was to everyone else, that we're actually much faster than Red Bull in a straight line with the overtake on. Which does bode well for the season finale at the moment, which is in Jeddah, which does rely on a lot of straight line speed. As we join our teammate, GELAEL, down towards turn 1. You'll watch Verstappen up the inside of us there. He's positioned his car well. We actually had a lock-up on the way in there. That's probably why we went so wide. And GELAEL quite smartly tucks in behind us, getting the slipstream from our car. Closes up massively there through Eau Rouge. I don't know if he's back. No, I think we've just hit the overtake button at the same time as him, so we're actually doing about the same speed. And he does think about it into the braking zone, but decides to wait, and patience is a virtue for him today. Anyway, we've rejoined. At the moment, we've got the yellow flags waving in Sector 3, so there's been an incident, but there's only one car ahead of us. It's Sergio Perez. His engine's exploded. We're going to take the lead of the Grand Prix. We've got Sean GELAEL, who's going to follow us through in P2. Could we finally have the 1-2 finish that I've been trying to get with Sean GELAEL all of season long? As we ride on board with him now, let's just see how he gets on with Max Verstappen behind him, because they're going to have DRS now. In fact, that is something that we do have to think about later on in the race, is dropping back far enough to give him DRS so that he doesn't lose second place, and then by proxy all the other positions behind him. Although we are very fast at a straight line in this car, that must be said. We come down the hill now. We're still very much clear of our teammate. Have a bit of a lock up there, actually, and that's not good, because that's going to help him close up in this section. As we really confused myself there, we're actually a lap ahead of where we were just watching, but still on board with Sean GELAEL as we come around this section, which is so unfair if you're on a higher difficulty, because the AI can just take it flat. And he's going down the inside now, around the outside. He does it! Sean GELAEL has managed to pull it off. As I try to stay awake, I've had a very long weekend, and Sean GELAEL there in his mirrors.
Box.
We actually get the call into the pit lane anyway, but we went massively wide out of the double right-hander there, and he binned it in the barrier, allowed GELAEL to run away with it a little bit. But we're coming into the pits on lap 4, which I think when we look down the field later on will be the earliest stop of anyone. So we might get the undercut here on GELAEL and stay ahead of Verstappen as well. We'll just have to see how things play out. As we come into the pit lane. Yes, if you're wondering why I've had a long weekend, it's because I had to drive an hour both ways yesterday to go drive a Lamborghini at a Castle Combe racetrack. Part of a driving experience I had for my birthday or Christmas a few years ago. It was very fun driving that Lambo. This was Sean GELAEL though, not in a Lamborghini, but in the same colour that the Lamborghini was. Green going around the outside of us there, and you can't deny that was pretty good. Anyway, we'll rejoin. We're at the top of the hill right now, behind the Hasses, who are dueling away side by side, slowing us down and, well, getting in the way by the looks of things. We're trying to find a way through. We've locked up again, and that is still an issue on that part of the track. We just cannot get around it without locking our wheels up. But actually, Nikita Mazepin very kindly just shoved his teammate off the track and gave us an opening there to get past one of them. And now we're going to slide up the inside of Mazepin as well. So we haven't lost too much time. But too much time can be quite a lot of time in Formula 1. We'll just have to see where we come out relative to GELAEL and Verstappen. Of course, we are under threat from Verstappen overtaking us, given that he had the DRS. And we only caught the Hasses at the end of the Camel Straight, which means we did not get a DRS tow. We're going to have to rely on our speed. Down towards the bus stop chicane. It doesn't look as though GELAEL came in. It's just Verstappen at the moment. So hopefully we can get ahead of one of them. If we can get rid of one of them, then the other ones shouldn't be too far ahead or behind us. As we jump back up the order. There is Verstappen. And actually this is going to be very close. He's actually got out ahead of us. But, oh no, there we go. He just slammed on the brakes for some reason and let us through. Well, that was very nice of him. Not that it's going to help us too much, though, because we're now apparently 1 hour and 42 minutes behind Nicholas Latifi. I'm sorry, that's 1 minute 42 seconds behind Nicholas Latifi, who is right in front of us. Up ahead, the two Alfa Romeos are holding up Charles Leclerc, who's trying to battle his way through for the back of the grid. Not having a good day by the looks of things. Canadian Grand Prix is on later, and he should be starting nearer the back, actually. That's going to be interesting to watch. Hopefully it doesn't take 15 million years to complete the race, just like it did in 2011, or the Monaco Grand Prix. A few weeks ago I was trying to edit during that, and I don't want to commit to anything because my Now TV player would freeze up if I started editing in Premiere Pro. So thanks Formula 1 and the Monegasque weather. Anyway, Verstappen still all over the back of us. I feel at this point we are getting in his way deliberately to help GELAEL out, who is going to be coming into the pit lane any second now. He's still not dropped down the order, but that may of course be because everyone else has just stayed. Oh no, there we go, he's in. He's into the pit lane, as is Nicholas Latifi, because that would be terrible to get stuck behind him of all people. And we come through. We have got the DRS from the Williams, which is going to help us substantially. Mick Schumacher laid ahead of us. There's Sean GELAEL coming out of the pit lane now, and he's done it. Sean GELAEL ahead of us as we come on to lap 7. 5 laps to go. Unfortunately for him, he's not going to have a DRS activation here, nor much of a tow from Schumacher, and he decides to drunkenly swerve all over the track and let us through. And that is that. But now we've got to chase down the Alfa Romeo, Mick Schumacher. Now, earlier on in this season, he did crash multiple times. As we watched the overspeed there, he did actually swerve at us, which is a little concerning when your teammate does that. Anyway, back with Schumacher, who failed to finish 2 of the first 3 races because he crashed or exploded his engine. Apparently, Alfa Romeo's run of reliability problems and bad luck seems to have ended more recently. Unfortunately, due to that fact, he's now in our way, and you can see it's already allowed Sean GELAEL and Max Verstappen to close up behind us, and that is not good for us at all. But it looks as though we're going to pull off a really risky move. We're going to go round the outside into Blanchimont and just about keep it on the circuit there as we get round the Alfa Romeo. Of course, Max Verstappen, way back in his, it was over his debut season or the season, his second season Formula 1, pulled the same move at that corner. And, well, it's a very nice section to drive through. I just saw in the background the train of cars behind Lewis Hamilton right now is absolutely astounding. As we ride aboard with GELAEL, can he defend from Max Verstappen? We've only given him 8 tenths of distance, so he's not going to have a huge tow like Verstappen is, but he does have a superior straight line speed as long as he overtakes on, as we've already seen today. And well, he's managed to get through fairly easily there as we rejoin on lap 9, and GELAEL now is trying his luck. He is trying to mug us off by driving all over the back of our car. Somehow, actually, looking down the order, McLaren, for one of the first times this season, are actually doing okay. They're in 5th and 6th at the moment, chasing down a Mercedes. I think weird stuff's been going on between the racing here on this game. Some cars seem to be really bad one week, and then I go off, do some editing, come back a week later, and all the car performance is completely different. Red Bull are, for one, experiencing that, and I don't know if it's just the reliability of the components that they're putting new parts in the car or what. But either way, some cars seem to be incredibly fast one week and then incredibly slow another. As is on display right now, we've got the Mercedes, McLaren and AlphaTauri locking out from 4th to 8th place. To 9th place, sorry. As we see Sean GELAEL's going around the outside again, taking advantage of the flat-out corner that he can take. I for one, was not even paying attention there, and I should have been. But either way, on lap 10 we go to now. Sean GELAEL still ahead of us, but not for long. And we've only got one more lap after this. Are we going to see this overtake? No, I didn't think so. Every season so far on this channel, we get an overtake that looks like that on the Camel Straight. Fantastic camera angle. You can actually manually control that one if you go into T-Cam on the replay. Unfortunately for us, I wasn't in T-Cam for that. But here is the T-Cam. And I have a feeling, actually, the AI may not go flat out through Eau Rouge, which might be why we've been closing up so rapidly. We actually went a little bit deep there, but and then that is a scary curve to go over, so I must have been feeling brave on that occasion. Round the final couple of corners we go. We're on lap 11 now. Powering down towards the bus stop chicane. Up ahead is the checkered flag. Behind us, our teammate. Unless he decides to blow up his car in the final corners, we are going to get the 1-2 that we have sought after for so long. As we come round the final corner now, and we cross the line with a checkered flag. We've had a massive accident to celebrate as the Red Bull and Radiant car go flying through behind us. We get in everyone's way, and that is the Belgian Grand Prix. We get driver of the day as well. Not entirely sure how or nor why, but we're going to take it anyway. Not that it makes any difference to the championship whatsoever. The unnamed man who runs the team looking pretty happy, and for the first time this season, in fact the first time in this career mode, we look to the side of us on the podium and we see our teammate on the second step, and that means we're going to be getting a champagne shower with each other. As we come onto the podium, we have yet again stolen the race wheel from the car and started handling the trophy with gloves. That is 2 penalties against us and a fine of £65 million per offence, as the champagne shower with GELAEL lasts. Very briefly, let's get on with the final results and those broken sponsors. And here we are with the final results, and just an insult to injury for Max Verstappen. We pick up the fastest lap, which is always good to see, by quite some margin as well. Anyway, behind the podium we had Lewis Hamilton, Daniel Ricciardo, Lando Norris, Pierre Gasly, Valtteri Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda and Fernando Alonso rounding out the point scorers. Over in the Drivers' Championship, we've extended our lead to 30 points over our rival Verstappen. Behind him we have his teammate of Sergio Perez, 31 points behind, and closing in on third place actually is our teammate Sean GELAEL. Further down the order we have Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo overtakes Carlos Sainz for 7th, then Pierre Gasly and Lando Norris rounds out the top 10. Outside of the top 10 we have Yuki Tsunoda, Charles Leclerc who dropped a place, Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon, Lance Stroll and Jack Aitken rounding out the final point scorers. They're followed by George Russell, Antonio Giovinazzi, Nicholas Latifi, Mick Schumacher, Christian Lundgaard and Nikita Mazepin. And finally, over in the Constructors, we have retaken the lead over our rivals Red Bull by 18 points. Back in third place, we still have Mercedes on 159, but McLaren top Ferrari and retake fourth position over the Italian outfit. Behind them, and very close behind, we have AlphaTauri, just 3 points behind Ferrari. Then Alpine, Aston Martin, Williams, Alfa Romeo and Haas. That's all for now. We'll catch you in the next one.